Hello and welcome to another episode of I Want to Cook. My name is Matt Deegan, and on this channel I show you all things cooking. Whether you can barely boil water or you've been cooking for years, there is always something more to learn. So here in Southern California, we finally got our first storm of the season. It's dark, it's rainy, it's windy, and it is a perfect day for soup. So today, with that in mind, I'm going to show you how to make a wonderful hearty vegetable soup in under an hour for only a few dollars. This recipe is simple but super hearty. Let me show you the ingredients that we're going to work with. It really doesn't take much. Okay, all it takes to make this soup is a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, some water. We're going to use, for the vegetable portion, 2 carrots, 2 sticks of celery, a potato, half an onion, and some garlic, rounded out by some herbs and salt and pepper. And don't worry, I will put the full ingredient list as well as the steps to make this in the description below. So let's get started. Let's make some vegetable soup. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is chop up our carrots, celery, and onion. And hey, do you remember what those 3 magic ingredients are called? That's called mirepoix, and I did a whole video on it and just how great those ingredients are. I'll list that in the description below. I should mention that I've already washed the celery and peeled the carrots, and don't worry, these cuts do not have to be perfect. You are just looking for bite-sized pieces just like this. I've got my vegetables all chopped up. Now what we are going to do is saute them in a pot for about 5 minutes. I should also mention the pot to use for this. I would go for a 4-quart or larger. This is a 4.5-quart pot. This is just a Calphalon anodized. This is going to work great. If you have stainless steel, that'll work fine too. I would use anything except cast iron. Cast iron has kind of a bad reaction with tomatoes, so that would be about the only type of cooker that I would not use for this recipe. But just about any 4-quart or larger pot that you have is going to work great. We're going to heat the pot over medium for about a minute, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then we'll add the vegetables. Now let's add the vegetables that are going to be the foundation of our vegetable soup. We're just going to put these right into the pot. Don't leave any of those guys out. We're going to stir to kind of coat these in the oil, and we're going to cook these for 5 minutes. Now, this is called sweating vegetables, and all that means is we're just kind of softening these vegetables. They're not going to get really brown. We just kind of want to get them soft and start the cooking process. And don't forget, we're going to always season as we go. So we're going to add some fresh cracked pepper and some salt. I'm just using some kosher salt here. Okay, we'll cook these for about 5 minutes over about medium-low heat. Now we haven't forgotten about Mr. Potato here. While the vegetables are cooking, we're going to cut up this potato into bite-sized pieces and then smash and then dice that garlic. And don't forget to stir the vegetables every once in a while. About every minute should be fine. Have you ever smashed fresh garlic before? If not, it's really fun. And if you're having kind of a rough day, you can take out some of that excess angst by just smashing this. And if you don't have fresh garlic, yes, of course you can use bottled stuff. Back when I was in culinary school and we were working with garlic and we had to chop them into really fine pieces into a small dice, a fellow student brought one of these out and my chef instructor had a fit. He took this away and said, "How dare you? We dice garlic with a knife." Guys, I don't care. If you got one of these, you can use this for your garlic. The vegetables have been cooking for 5 minutes and it already smells fantastic in here. And guess what? It is going to start to smell even better. That's because we are going to add our garlic to the pot. And I'm also going to add half a teaspoon of dried oregano and half a teaspoon of dried thyme as well. We're going to give this a stir and let it cook for about 1 minute and then add the tomatoes. Time for the rest of the ingredients to join the party. So I'm just using a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes here. We're going to put everything in here. The juice, the tomatoes, everything. I'm also using 3 cups of water. And of course, we can't forget the potato. This is just a basic russet potato that I've used. I didn't even bother to peel it. I don't mind potato skins, but if you don't like tomato skins, then peel them off. Okay, we're just going to give this a quick stir. I'm going to add a little more salt and a little more pepper. Don't worry, we will adjust seasonings as we go, but we are just going to kind of let everything gel in here and bring this up to a simmer. That's when those bubbles are just breaking the surface. Our soup is getting close to the simmer, and again, while we're waiting for this, we can talk ingredients. If you don't want potatoes, hey, that's totally cool. The great thing about soup or cooking anything for that matter is you cook what you want. So if you want different vegetables in this other than these, go ahead and add them. If you want to use rice or pasta, game on. You can totally add that to that soup to get a little more nutrition, tailor it to your taste. One pro tip though, if you are going to use rice or pasta, use pre-cooked rice or pasta, then add it to the soup later, add it at the end. The reason is if you add rice or pasta to a soup as it's cooking, the rice or the pasta will absorb that liquid and you'll end up with something that's kind of gooey and not very much like soup. It has been just over 20 minutes and the soup has reached a simmer. So we're going to put a lid on here real quick, but before we do that, I'm just going to take a taste of this soup just to make sure that the seasonings are tasting good. Now again, this isn't finished, but I just want to kind of get an idea of where we're at with the soup. Again, this has only been 20 minutes. Yeah, definitely getting there. It has the right amount of salt, right amount of pepper. Okay. One more thing before I put the lid on, I'm going to use a couple of bay leaves. I'm going to drop these in here. We're going to lower the temperature to low, and we're just going to put the lid on right here at a tilt. Now you may be wondering, why am I not having the lid fully covered? That's because I want some of this steam to get out of the pot. I want it to condense a little bit. That's just going to add more flavor to the soup. So this is basically it. We are just going to let this simmer for the next half hour, maybe 40 minutes. We'll stir it occasionally, give it a test, but that's all you need to do. What we're looking for is for the potatoes to be nice and soft and for this soup to taste great to you. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so this soup has been cooking for 50 minutes. It is only getting darker and colder outside, which means that this hot soup is only going to taste better. Now I have been stirring this along the way. I do know that the potatoes are tender. I'm gonna give it a quick taste here just to check for final seasonings. And remember to let the soup cool for a bit before you test it. I once made a stew that I cooked for like 8 hours. And by the time it was done, I was so hungry to eat it that I forgot to let it cool and, of course, burned my mouth. Don't do that. That is tasting spot on. The only thing left to do is properly put this in a bowl, garnish it, and get down to eating. Okay, so I'm just going to ladle this into my favorite bowl here. Do beware of the bay leaves. You're going to want to pick those out. You don't want to eat those. Look at all that, all this wonderful carrots and tomatoes. This is looking fantastic. Now I did chop up some flat leaf Italian parsley. I like to put this on top of the soup just to give it a little more freshness, and it also visually looks great. And if you want, you can also add like red pepper flakes, Parmesan to this, but I'm just going to keep this nice and simple and give this a try. Guys, can you see the steam coming off of this? On a day like this, this is like the perfect meal. All right, remember, Deegan, let it cool a bit first. So the vegetables, they're tender, but they've still got some firmness to them. And by adding this this parsley, that gives it a really nice herby freshness. This is fantastic, and you just cannot get this in a can. So that is how to make hearty homemade vegetable soup in under an hour for just a few bucks. Guys, I hope you try this recipe. If you do, please let me know how it turns out for you. I think you're gonna love it. Thank you for watching. Again, this is I Want to Cook. My name is Matt Deegan. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate the support for this channel. If you like this video, please give it a like. That lets me know what kind of videos you do like and what to keep making more of. If there is something you want to learn how to make, a request you have, or just a question you have about something in the kitchen, put that in the description below and I will try to get to it in a future episode or by replying to the comments on YouTube. As always, thanks for watching I Want to Cook, and I will see you next time.